Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. Thank you all for joining me tonight on all the different platforms and listening now and in the future. We've got some new faces in the chat tonight. If you're there, hello, thank you for joining us. I hope you hang about for a little bit. It's not gonna be a massively long episode tonight, just a half an hour or so. Give you a little bit of an update, tell you what I've been up to, a few things I'm gonna be doing over the next few days as well. So first, let's just talk about what we can see in front of us. It is a bridge between my Polyrachus dives massive multi-species tank into another massive multi-species tank. So together with these two tanks connected by this vine, there is vampire crabs, 3 different species of ant, 5 species of isopod, beetles, Mario worms, springtails, millipedes, spiders, stick insects. There's quite a varying. There's quite a lot of different stuff living in there, but it's awesome. It's so cool. As you can see, the ants are traversing it back and forth. We have put some roaches in this evening just to sort of build up that traffic for your viewing. Obviously, I didn't want it because although they were going back and forth, I wasn't necessarily 100% sure if it was like full on yet. So I just wanted to stick those roaches in to really see if that reaction happens. And as you can see, they're clearly using it back and forth. Happy days. We only did this yesterday. I have obviously got a video that I am working on that will be coming out when it's all edited and ready. So this is probably the best you're going to get for now, like a little sneak preview of it. I think it's so cool. So far, we haven't had any ants fall off. That is a question I've been asked a couple of times now. We haven't had any ants fall off. And if they do, the tanks are pretty much butted up next to each other, although there is that lip part on the new tank. But let's be honest, I've had these ants, this exact colony, running about my bedroom for the last probably year or 6 months at least. And before that, they were running about my dining room because in their main tank, they have a wire which comes out of the pond, which they can literally just wander out of the tank whenever they feel it's time to. But I don't give them the need to. They get fed. They were getting fed in their tank and whatnot. So they always kind of stayed there. So now we've got this, and it's like the opposite side to the pond. So it's again directing that flow of traffic, you could say, towards the new area. That one's carrying something so cool. The beetles have also, the beetles made it all the way across before any of the ants did. It was actually really interesting. When I did it, I put the sugar towers with the ants straight into the new tank so that there's like ants over there instantly. And then like they sort of started but the beetles were the first ones to actually make it the whole way across. It was actually really interesting. They just got over there, and there's about probably 6 or 7 of the beetles over there now. Not a problem at all. I mean, it took them a little while to climb it, not as fast as an ant obviously, but they didn't struggle at all. So yeah, it's super cool. I'm very excited. Obviously, I'll keep you up to date if anything happens, anything goes wrong, or if they have a mass escape. If they decide to jump and they work out that if they jump, they could get out, I don't know. But there is a considerable gap under the bridge. Obviously, it looks kind of like it's lead on the tank here, but it isn't lead on the tank at all. There is a gap of a couple of inches there. It wasn't easy to kind of bend it in and flex it. I was hoping for a little bit more length, but obviously my measurements weren't quite right. So when I put it in, it didn't quite like dig into both tanks. It's only dug into one tank, and on the other tank, it's just kind of hanging on the floor like vines, and it looks cool and it works really well, but it's not that kind of secure structure that I was hoping for. So we'll see. But so far, they say we've had the beetles traverse it and whatnot, and it's not flexed under them. I did knock it a little bit earlier, but again, it seems pretty sturdy. I bashed it in there with a load of rocks and soil on top of it, as you can see. If you look straight down behind it, there's yeah. Thank you very much, Fane. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a masterpiece, we could say. Right. I've sat here for hours watching it. It's hard to decide what to watch now, this bridge or the leaf cutters, because obviously the leaf cutters are absolutely spectacular anyways. So anyways, cutters, I've been feeding them all sorts of different things. They've really gone nuts with the dandelion lately, actually. Dandelion seems to be their favorite. I put a new whole plant in yesterday, pulled it out by the roots, and they've pretty much annihilated the whole plant by today. I'm going to get them another one tomorrow morning. So they're doing really well. The fungus is growing nicely, which is always good as well, because that's always like the hardest part is keeping the fungus nice and healthy. But it seems to be growing nicely. I'll be looking to get a bigger pot on it soon, and just keeping that micro environment whilst it's not quite to the full fungus chamber size. Easier to manage for them. Again, just making life easier. I don't want to risk it. They're so sensitive. um, yeah, cool. There's still really high humidity and whatnot. Yeah, they do love the dandelions, don't they? They seem to do really well with bramble. Bramble's like they'll always have bramble, like the rose petals. But dandelions does seem to be their favorite. I mean, dandelion's quite nice and nutritious. Anyways, that might be it actually, because dandelion is one of the more nutritious ones, like stinging nettles, isn't it? That it's probably that. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, it's definitely, if you like cut into it, it's got that sticky sapness, hasn't it? And that is something that they do crave, because, like I was explaining in one of my past streams, they're leaf cutters, yes, but they do still require a sugar top up in captivity, because in the wild they would be cutting leaves with much more and higher quality sap than what they're getting in the pre-pulled and pre-cut branches, So you kind of give them that little bit of a sugar top up. But I think dandelions do kind of retain that sap a little bit better. They're definitely sticky when you cut into them. So that might explain it. Delicious and nutritious food is the best for all species. That is it. Nutrition is always important. It's something that we looked heavily into when we were developing our ant sugars, actually, was the nutrition side of it, because we didn't just want to have sugars. And yeah, so we've got like all sorts of electrolytes and extra nutrition in there. What's the word? Derived, taken from honey and natural sources like that, basically. So it's packed full of nutrition for them, as well as the sugars. Like you say, it's so important to get that balance right to really maintain a healthy diet. As a ex-pro athlete, I sort of know about dietitian and how important it is to not just your health but feeling good as well. Happy body, happy mind, sort of thing. What else has been going on with the leaf cutters? To be honest, the leaf cutters have been quite uneventful. Apart from they're absolutely awesome, there's nothing like spectacular to tell you about them at the moment. I am obviously planning their expansions and things like that for the future, but that's not going to be for a little while yet. They will definitely be coming to Sheffield in the display case that they are currently in. If you haven't seen Sheffield, we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, and obviously go over it for anyone that has seen it before. I guess since booking it. No worries, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you very much. So the leaf cutters, like I say, they will be coming to Sheffield in their current state. Obviously, they're going to be growing a bit further by that, but same display case and whatnot that they're currently in. It is absolutely fantastic, and it is designed to move. So that's not an issue at all. When I say designed to move, it's designed to be carried to the events and things like that. Are exactly what I planned it for. So what else is happening at the event? At the event in Sheffield, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. So if you're going to have to give them liquid sugar, if you are giving it, no. So they don't seem to take it back to the fungus. I'm stopping what I'm talking. I answer your question. Thank you, Ants England, and welcome. Thank you for joining. They literally lap it up right there, to the point where like you start with 1, 2, 3, and then like most of the colonies there, and they're just swarming over it until it's gone. They don't seem to take it back to the fungus. They seem to digest it straight away themselves, which would make sense from my research. Like I said about them having the tree sap and so on, they would digest that or ingest that. There's no well feeding ants, awesome. They would ingest that whilst cutting the leaf. They wouldn't necessarily go and look for sap puddles, but they probably would take sap puddles, if you know what I mean, like little drips of sap. But whilst they're actually cutting the leaf, they would be lapping up within that cut, if that makes sense. So it does make sense that they directly ingest it themselves. And again, I'm not actually 100% sure on, but they possibly did take some back to feed to the queen. That, you know, I wouldn't put it past them. But I have spoken about it, and it's not something I actually thoroughly know, is the size of their social stomach in comparison to other species as such, because they take the leaves back to the fungus and the fungus supplies the food, so on and so forth. They don't necessarily need such a large social stomach, although they are obviously still performing trophallaxis and carrying food within the nesting area as such. But it does, they wouldn't require as much of a social stomach, in my opinion. So it's definitely something I've been looking into, and I'm sure I'll come to the bottom of it eventually, because leafcutters are one of the most researched species in the world. And I'm sure someone's got the answer to me. But yeah, that's definitely something that they do feed each other. That you quite often see them, like I say, with it's mainly humidity. You see them swapping the liquids and stuff, because they absolutely go nuts for water or any liquids really. And that, I think, is more what they're passing between each other rather than the fungus or whatever they've eaten from the fungus, because I don't know if they necessarily eat the fungus or the fungus produces like a different type of fungus that they eat. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think they eat the newest parts of the fungus, and as it starts to get older, it becomes more the brood chamber. If that, yeah, I think that's how it makes sense in my head. Whether the words come out right is another matter altogether. But yeah, you do get to see them doing the trophallaxis, which is pretty cool, because obviously at their size, like, you get to see it quite nicely. Right, so back to what I was saying on, what was I saying? I was saying about Sheffield. I was saying about Sheffield next. Sheffield, it's going to be an absolutely spectacular event, as we know. I keep saying it, keep going over it. It's going to be stretched over 2 rooms, so make sure that you do visit both rooms as well. It's going to be signposted everywhere, but I want to make sure that that is loud and clear, that there's 2 rooms. Don't miss out on the second room, because it's just as good as the first. Full stage listings probably be posted later this week, maybe later next week. I am absolutely hectic at the moment, just trying to catch up from the big move and sorting everything out here. I'd love to see that, because I didn't think they did it. I shall get some footage or a picture of it for you. Obviously, it's one of those things, like, you've got to take the big dive at some point, Ants England, and I'm sure you will join the Leafcutter group as such, whatever they call us. I'm sure you'll get some at some point, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll definitely aim to try and take some pictures of it for you. I mean, they're pretty much out all the time. I'll just sit there and wait, like Attenborough style. Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, full listings of both stages will be available within the next week, maybe 2 weeks, as soon as I get my head around it. And then Maps and everything will be posted on site. That's it. The maps and the schedules will be posted everywhere on site as well, of course, so that you know where to find everyone, you know when to find everything, and you can sort of plan your day around it. You probably won't get to see everything because there's going to be so much going on. It's sort of overlapping. You won't be able to see like every lecture on every stage just because that's not possible unless you cut yourself in like 3 pieces or something. I don't know. I was having this talk earlier with a few people actually that there's like quite a lot going on. I was like, unless we like go on to 2 days, it's just the way it's going to be. But you know, you never know. The dives are not moving. They've been attached to a second tank, so they're still nested well within the first tank, but this is acting as an outworld for me to feed them and so on and so forth. It just takes a bit of pressure away from the main tank and pond sort of area. This is at the other side of the tank, so it takes main traffic away from the pond. Originally I was going to dig out the pond, get the vampire crabs out and all of that, and then I thought, well, really, like looking at the tunnel system, they are tunneled well under like most of the tank, so it's going to be a big old job trying to get to them, possibly damaging them, upsetting the whole tank. The dives will be angry. What's the point when I can just do this, direct the traffic in another direction, and sort of give them a bit more space that way? And it seems to be working really well. I said it earlier, there hasn't seemed to be any ants fall off yet, so that's a bonus. The beetles have also made it across without any issues, so that's really cool. And really, it's so cool just to stand here and watch them. It's like, what do I watch? Because literally next to this tank is the leaf cutters. Just to the left-hand side of what you can see is the leaf cutters. So it's like, what do I watch? Like the leaf cutters or this? And then I turn around and I've just got like, I've got a lot of shelves just full with ants and different inverts and stuff and boxes to the side. And then there's Manny over there. So what do I watch? It's pretty awesome in here. And then, so in my new house, we've got the most fantastic sea view out of my office as well. It's sort of view people would kill for. Saying that, he didn't quite kill for it, but back in about 1700 and something, a rich guy took a fancy to a certain part of the island that I live on. And he decided to build Pennsylvania Castle, what is now Pennsylvania Castle. It's sort of in the grounds of the old Rufus Castle. Rufus Castle is a medieval castle from obviously medieval era, but it's all in ruins. So he incorporated that into his garden, and also incorporated part of a little cove down the bottom of the island and so on and so forth, some steps which go down. Now, all of that was fine until he built a bath. He wanted the sea view whilst he had a bath. Now, public baths were all the rage at the time. All the rich people liked having big public baths, especially outside with nice sea views and things like that. It was good for the body and good for the soul is what they thought. So he built this concrete bath. It's about 8 foot long by about 3 foot wide on the edge of the cliff just outside of Pennsylvania Castle, which was actually not his land. It was on public land. And for many, many years, he had back and forths with the local council. Now, the local council here isn't run like a normal council. It's actually called a leet. Now, not elite, it's LEET, like leet. And that's something to do with like old school things. It's very confusing. I won't go into that one now. But it's not run like a normal parish council. So he had these debates with them for many, many years, and in the end, he was allowed to keep his bath, but he had to pay like a certain amount of money for use of the land, which was fine. He did it for about 11 years, and then he gave up using the bath anyways. And like 20 years of debate, 11 years of use, and then he gave up whatever. But so that is still on the cliff edge, and you can go and visit here if you come over to Portland at any time. It is a fantastic area. Pennsylvania Castle itself is awesome. It's all quite modern these days, and they have little cafe and stuff like that in there. And then you can obviously go to Ruthless Castle remains for a little day trip. It's quite a nice little journey out. It's actually about 5 minutes from my house, or 5 minutes from where I used to live. I've moved now. It's about half an hour from where I live now, maybe 40 minutes. It's the other side of the island, basically. We're not a very big island, but we are what we are, and it's beautiful. But anyways, so back to Sheffield. We have got seats left. It's coming across the bottom now, but I'll say it anyways. We have got some seats left on the Ant bus. Ant bus will be travelling from Weymouth, going through the Bristol, Gloucester area, all the way up to Sheffield along the east coast. There is a charge, but you can get a single or a return with us, and it is going to be a lot cheaper than, say, catching a train or a standard coach. Not just that, it's going to be filled with other ant and invert enthusiasts, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. We're leaving on Friday. We'll be going up there on Friday, so you will need to find accommodation for the night. I can help you with that if you need to be. And we will be coming back on Saturday evening after the event, after a few hours after the event, probably enough time for everyone to have a couple of drinks in the pub and get something to eat before jumping on the bus or whatever. It will be absolutely awesome. Message me if you want to get on that bus. Like I say, we do have some seats left. Ant stalls, there is some ant stalls going to be there. You're going to have to wait for the final listings. I'm afraid the ones that are up there, I think at the minute is just me and Baz at the moment. Yeah, the Ant Mobile, That's listening to American people, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's just me and Baz on the listings at the moment, but I do need to update it at some point. Like I said, I will get round to doing all these updates, things that I've been meaning to do. It just, everything got put on hold whilst I moved, and it kind of done me in, to be honest. I've only just got the energy back today, so I've sort of done very little. But we have got over 30 vendors in total, and quite a few of them are going to have ants and stuff, so that's really exciting. Ants or Us will not be joining us this time. He will be at the Bristol show though. When is the final list? The final list will probably come out in early January, probably early January. I'm trying to hold off as much as I can and kind of let little bits out. So I've earlier I posted about our main speaker, Dr. Elva Robinson. I had to make sure I get that right. I want to make sure I say the right title and so on. She is our headline act, as we could say, on our main stage. She is from the University of York and going to be absolutely fantastic, as well as all our other ant speakers on the day. They're going to be fantastic, and invert speakers, because we have some invert speakers joining us on the second stage for a general history, which is going to be fantastic and not to be missed as well. So again, I will, like I say, I will do more bigger updates and things like that in January. I expect, like, next couple of weeks are going to be hectic with Christmas. I will try and get some bits done over the next week or so, but obviously then with Christmas happening, that will put a pause on things. So expect it sort of early January, all the final details will be out. I'm just going through my list. I'm just making sure I've got everything that I need to say about. Oh, so let me know when you can understand. Yeah, no worries. I will obviously send you a message. In fact, make sure you're part of the group as well, because I'm going to start pushing that group on everyone a bit more, because I haven't even told most people that I put a group together to, like, post all the updates in, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the moving was absolutely hectic. We got a phone call saying, oh, the place that you put a bid in for, it's ready. Do you want to view it? And we're like, yeah, that'd be brilliant. When you thinking, like January? And they're like, no, tomorrow. Like, okay. And we went round and viewed it, and they're like, it was when do you want to move in? Like, and we're like, okay, how fast? Well, next week. And we literally had like 4 days, and it was like, boom, done. And then I spent 3 days moving our entire like 3-bed house worth of everything and all my weights and everything. Yeah, I will. Brilliant. I'll do that. Moving it all into this house, and then it just absolutely wiped me out, to be honest. You know, everyone's got these colds. I think one of them got me because I'm still kind of coughing up. Just like that, you say it and it comes to mind, doesn't it? So yeah, and that hit me and it just wiped me out completely. So I'm only just getting back to it now, against orders of most people. But whatever. Yeah, right. So that group, I put it together, and like I say, it's sort of for me to just post the updates and like make it really easy for everyone to keep up to date. I've completely forgot to even like invite people into it or tell anyone about it. So I think it's got like 4 members or something. I will get that done at some point. Moving the ants was probably one of the hardest things we've ever done. With the big tanks, like we've got 45 enclosures in here now. The centipede was fairly easy. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, you're moving that." I was like, "Mate, come on, it's not going to get out. It's in a nice sealed box. It's fine." But the big tanks were fine. The leaf cutters are obviously designed to be moved, so that wasn't hard at all. They literally just went. Wow, I nearly just dislocated my shoulder. That was painful. Oh, give me a second. Yeah, there we go. He's back. He's back. My shoulder is not good. It's an old boxing injury, if you don't know. So basically, I cracked my shoulder in half. It will never fix unless I go for like major surgery, which I didn't want to do because it might knock my arm out of action for like 2 years. So it's slowly getting worse and worse. And now I just have to like move funny and it will just pop out. So yeah. Yeah, you were one of the originals, and single, and I'll send out invites probably this evening to it. I haven't done. I've done so many other things. It's kind of dropped to the wayside a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, so moving, the hardest thing to move actually was the trapdoor tank, because we built it with caverns and an entire like rock wall background. It was heavy as heck, but it's not in a massive tank. So we were sort of like, we were almost like butting our shoes against each other when we were walking, but we had to carry it together because it was so heavy. But yeah, so a bit of a nightmare, very interesting. Um, it's not, well, it's not one I'm looking forward to doing again. We will be doing it again at some point. I'm not going into massive details. This is our forever home now. We are not moving from this house again, but I do have a feeling we'll be moving part of the ant room. We do obviously need to decorate. I don't know if I've tried not to get much of the wallpaper in, but you will see some of the wallpaper on my shorts and things like that. That's on my short videos on YouTube. It is pretty awful. I don't think it's been decorated since the 70s. Whatever, we're in. And the thing was, we could have decorated it and taken more time, but we only had like a set deadline that we could. I didn't want to be paying for 2 houses, you know what I mean? So I sort of paid up with one and then started on the other rather than having that overlap for too long. So that was the main thing. And I just haven't got around to decorating it. We can do all of that in time. Thing is, I could live many more years yet. Probably won't, but I could live many more years yet, and it'll all slowly get done. I'm going to do the garden, and it's going to be fantastic. We're going to have nice barbecues out there, probably in a couple of years' time when it is all done and finished, and I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, and I've got a massive shed which is literally on the side of my ant office. So the likeliness is we're going to convert that into a second ant room, smash through a hole, or even smash through the whole wall, or glass wall it, or it's going to be fantastic. and right in front of my office, I'm thinking getting a big old greenhouse that I can hook up the leaf cutters to and just let them go nuts in. How spectacular would that be? But we'll see. Possibilities are endless when you're in a space like this. There is quite considerable amount of space here. It's absolutely fantabby dooby. Fantabby dooby. Yeah. So, anyways, the last thing I'm going to tell you about tonight is my daughter's Niger colony. I think they've just about had it, right? So we moved them in separately to all the other tanks because all the other tanks are fairly easy. Oh, we've got an Evie coming in. Hello, Evie. Yeah, you saying hi? Daddy. Daddy's on streaming, darling. Daddy's working. Good girl. You go back with mummy then. That's it. Go on then. I might have to just mute for 2 seconds. I do apologise for that, but we all know what Evie's like, and when she comes to get me and she says my name, you gotta give in. She's only just started talking in the last 4 months, 6 months, probably 6 months we've been getting proper words. No, 4 months we've been getting proper words. Probably about 6 months we've been getting sounds. And now she's saying daddy and come here and all sorts, and it's so cute. You kind of just gotta give in, even when it is a pain in the backside. So, anyways, Amy's colony, I think, like I say, we moved them separately because they are in their own dug tunnels and whatnot. And we wanted to be sure of no collapses. I didn't put them in the van with the rest. I went back for them separately in a car and held on to them the whole way back. Now, looking into it whilst they were on my lap, I couldn't see a queen. I could not see the queen for love or money. Now, that doesn't mean that she's not in there. She might have been hiding in a chamber area that isn't uncovered by the gaps, but I have a really bad feeling. There's a huge pile of dead bodies. Most of the colony has passed away. There isn't many workers left. Most of the tunnels are empty, chambers are empty. There's no brood to be seen. I think they've had it. So what I plan to do is I will be gently emptying this colony into a much larger container box for 5 minutes. And I will be sorting through to see what size was it. The colony was probably around 300 to 500 workers. They were doing spectacular, like really, really good. And it's such a shame. I honestly can't tell you what's happened. It's so weird. But they're still eating. They're still eating protein and stuff. So I might be wrong, but there's a huge pile of dead bodies, huge, and there's next to no ants in the chambers anymore, and they're just not repopulating at that rate. So, like I said, I'm gonna get them into a much larger container where I can space it all the sand out like nice and thin, and it's not gonna bury them, And I'm gonna collect the workers one by one into a test tube, see if I can find the queen and any brood, and I'll retube it and see if I can start them again. Because I think they really need something. They're not the likeliness is the queen is dead. To be honest, I'm like 99% sure the queen's gone, and that's the end. But on the off chance that we do find the queen, obviously retubing her will be the best option. At this point, this colony size, the nest size that they dug, is not any good for them. It's, thank you, Ants England. Fingers crossed, definitely. But I can't see any other option. Like, I could just leave them as they are and continue to feed them and water them like I am, but they're just dying out still. The numbers just aren't coming back. I've removed all of those dead bodies once, and the pile is back just as big, and there's even less ants, So they're just not. I hate it. I really hate it because it's one of those things I don't like disturbing ants like this, especially just pulling out the whole nest. But I don't see many other options apart from just allowing them to die for even longer. Now, the fact on this as well is I've got a large colony of tetramonium bees, we're going to call them because I can never pronounce it, bicartanatum. Is that it? Bicartanatum? If you might have to treat, yeah, I know, but she's pretty much got she's got Mesobarbarus. That is actually her other colony, but she can come in and say I want that one at any time, and she pretty much has them. But she's been absolutely spectacular helping actually. All the other inverts like the millipedes, the isopods, things like that. She has been brilliant, like taking old pieces of food out, putting the fresh food in regularly, because that's like pretty safe and harmless and easy for her to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've been getting her to do that a lot lately, as well as feeding her ants. But yeah, she's been getting a lot more involved with it, which is nice. But she can have whatever she wants. You know, I'm such a softie when it comes to my kids. Yeah, exactly. Just add tubs and tubes. See, I've done that. They didn't move in. You know what Nigers are like, to be honest. So yeah, my large colony of tet bees, like I don't know. I feel like they would do really well in this. Thank you. Tetramonium bicarbonate. That's it. Natum. I always want to go natrium, but that's just a eum. That you know, it's just that. Excuse my language. It's just that it's my head. We just say it's my dyslexic brain just doesn't want to process that word. Look at that, he's carrying over a pupa casing. Cool. So yeah, I think they'll do really well in this sort of colony, in this sort of nest, sorry. And I also have another nest that I'm going to attach to it because obviously they're so big already and expand so fast. Antimatters, thank you very much and welcome. Yes, because they grow so fast. Like I've got this second, like we could call it self-digging nest that I could use as well. So I'd quite like to attach both of those up to their current outworld setup and let them move out of the tubs and tubes, really. They're in the tubs and tubes and a nest at the moment, but the nest is like not covered. It's got the red cover on and it's within the tub itself. So it's still acting like a tubs and tubes, not actually connected via vinyl. So yeah, I'm thinking of just connect that up and expose the nest to the light. They do move really fast when you expose them to the light. I say, but bath, potato, tomato. There's loads of them, isn't there? That like I can't remember. What's it? Our English language is brilliant. The dove dove under the dive. Dove. Yeah, all of that lot. Oh dear. It's bath, isn't it? If you're bath, you're like, it's the Queen's English. It's bath, isn't it? And if you're sort of more common, I suppose, you say bath. We dropped our R's and lost our T's. I don't even say full words sometimes, and my sentences just turn into murmurs. So. Like my best mate Aaron says that it took him years to work out what I'm saying half the time because my brain goes faster than I can talk. And I'm just like, I'll end sentences halfway through and just say, screw it, and just walk off. And he's got to work it out. Brilliant, bless me. He's done well. He has done well. So yeah, I think I'll move my tet bees into that nest and whatnot. I say, try and on top of the Niger situation. Yeah, I'll move to tet bees, which is exciting. And then I'll leave the spare space on the shelf where the tet bees are now. And that can be where the Nigers go back to. Yeah, that seems good and likely. My Manikaroo bidder's doing really well. Whilst we're on the subject, she's got, I don't know how many now, but loads and loads of brood and larvae and whatever. She'll have workers fairly soon, I would have thought. Still out and active at the moment. So that's nice. All my colonies are doing all right, really. I've been trying to get a Mesobarbarus colony to move back into a tube. They were in a nest. They've lost a few workers now and not reproduced at the rate I thought they would. So I'm trying to move them back into a tube. I've exposed the nest, and normally, like the minute you expose Mesobarbarus to the light, they go running. They've literally done nothing. They've gone into the tubes. It's been there for weeks and everything. It's literally done nothing. So that's whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, Manika's doing really well. I wasn't going to do Manika. I didn't, there was a challenge thing. I didn't join in with that. Don't get me wrong. I had them on my last stock, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to keep one. Why not? Because I do enjoy Manika Rubella, and I had them before, and they got that sort of founding stage 20 worker-ish, and the queen died, as normally happens, which is so annoying. But they say it's one of, they're so difficult, aren't they? Like I can't tell you what happened or why, but they just did. Yeah, so I thought I'd try them again, and she seems to be doing really well. Seems happy. I think got it better this time, and more knowledge to give it a go this time. I think it's the way to say it. I don't know. How do I say it? Lost myself. Completely just lost track of where I was. Brilliant. But yeah, so I am going to start running up this stream now. Let me know if you've got any further questions or comments about anything I've said, any of the events or anything, or even the Ant Bridge, because the Ant Bridge is pretty awesome and it's on screen, so it might generate some questions. If not, we will end the stream in just a minute because I need to get myself some food. I am hungry. I've been eating and eating and eating. It might be because I've started training and doing things like that again. I haven't been training so much lately because I've been working on other projects and competing anymore. So I haven't necessarily been worrying about it, but now I'm back on training just for fun. I am eating a lot. Very, very, very hungry to the point where I could probably I'd eat this desk if I have to sit here for another half an hour without stuffing my food in my face. I'm pretty hungry. It's also because of the medication I take, you get like rampant appetite. Like people really struggle to maintain their size and so on this certain medication that I'm on. You just get so hungry, and it becomes like more than a hunger. It's like a crazy hunger. Like I say, I'd eat the desk. I'm really hungry. But anyways, let's not eat a desk right now. I think, like I say, I'm hard to know what to watch now in this room. Look at that. The dives are just running like the signal's a bit rubbish at the minute. If you go back stream, it has cleared up a few times and it has been pretty good. I managed to get it to focus on top of the branch because earlier it wanted to yeah, exactly. Chipboard, MDF, yeah. Yeah, earlier it was wanting to focus on the main tank at the bottom and it was all blurry at the top, and my wife came in and was like, nah, that's not good enough, do it like this, and she managed to sort it out and get it focusing at the top of the stick, which was cool because it means like now there's no glass, no nothing between us. We are cambered about 4, maybe 7, 8 inches away from the branch right now, and that is just pure ant that you're looking at. And aren't they a beautiful, beautiful species? Polyrhacus dives are spectacular. I quite enjoy all the Polyrhacus species. In fact, they do have some really beautiful species in the genus. But obviously, I'm a massive fan of my own Polyrhacus dives. And they are spectacular. And I have got a light shining on them just to sort of give you a better view again. Yeah, I will release the full video soon. Like I said, I only did this yesterday, literally last night, actually, well, about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. And by about 9, 10 o'clock, they were starting to explore it. I haven't been here most of today. I've been out and about doing things. So I've not been able to really observe it or do more filming, but I will get a little bit more footage of it, and then I'll start editing the video probably for 2 or 3 weeks' time. It'll be a little while. I've got some other videos lined up that, again, I'm in the middle of editing and whatnot. I had to put everything on hold when I moved. I do apologise to that. I even stopped streaming for like a whole week. Quite handy, been able to do both. Not at all. The moving just done me in. I had to spend the whole day in bed at one point. But that's it when you move a whole 3-bedroom house and crazy ant room. Oh well, never again, never again. I think I am about done for tonight. It's been absolutely spectacular. And before I do go, actually, I'm going to put in a link. Now, it would be absolutely amazing if anyone would join me over on this link. Someone else stream is the Advent Calendar fundraiser by Unseen Universe. Now, Unseen Universe will be at the Sheffield event, and he is doing some absolutely fantastic fundraising at the minute, raising money for Friends of West Oaks School. Is a special needs school that his son does attend. Putting that link in the chat right now. It would mean a lot to me if you just go over there and say hi. We're like, hello, we're here, sort of thing. Bringing the ant community over to him is really cool, I think, and he's appreciating all of it. And obviously, it's not too late to get involved in his giveaway as well. You can buy a ticket for $5, but it stays in for every day up until Christmas. We've already missed about half the days, but he's got like 50 or 60 prizes left to give away. Like 3 or 4 prizes every day up until Christmas. Say hello. There's like 70 odd people in the chat right now. I'm going to head over there straight away whilst my food is cooking and say hi to everyone. So I hope you join me over there as well. So he's doing something fantastic, and just saying hello does mean a lot to him. So yeah, apart from that, I'm going to say a massive thank you to all my viewers. Now, future, you're absolutely spectacular. Everyone that's given me a comment tonight, you're awesome. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, obviously, to our sponsors, Antsoras and Valhalla Martial Arts. Without them, we wouldn't be able to keep pushing the boundaries the way we are in the terms of our space and what we're doing in our ant room, because it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, obviously, my Patreon supporters. Fantastic, as always. But that is it from me. If you need me, you know where to find me. Message me anytime. As always from me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans. Good night.